In screen printing, the artist applies a stencil to a piece of fabric stretched over a wooden frame. The stencil blocks all openings except the image area. A sheet of paper is placed under the screen and a bead of ink is applied along the top. The artist pulls the ink across the screen with a squeegee, forcing it through the open areas and onto the paper below. To begin making the screen, a fine mesh fabric such as silk, cotton, or in this case a polyester monofilament is sized to the wooden frame. The artist stretches the fabric and staples it securely to the frame. Next, she hammers the staples to the frame to tighten the working surface. The excess fabric is cut away. Finally, the edges are taped to prevent any ink from leaking onto the paper or printing surface. The screen is now ready for the artist to apply a stencil. A stencil can be transferred to the screen through the photographic method. Here, the artist works the same way a photographer does, in a darkened room with safe lights. A thin, even coat of photosensitive emulsion is applied to the screen with a coating trough. Next, a transparency with the image area darkened is placed on the screen. When the screen is exposed to light, the uncovered area hardens, while the protected area under the darkened image remains soft. Next, the artist rinses the screen with a high-pressure spray and washes away the unexposed or soft image area. The finished screen is now ready to print. With the blockout method, the artist can paint an image on the screen with a glue-based solution. The glue fills the openings of the screen and blocks the flow of ink, working like a type of stencil. Because the positive area of the design is left open, the ink can go through it onto the paper. When the solution is dry, the screen is ready to print. The simplest and oldest method of image transfer is the cut stencil. Here, the artist places the image and stencil paper on a light table. To make the stencil, she cuts away the positive area of the image while leaving the negative area solid. When the screen is printed, the ink can only flow through the open areas of the screen, not covered by the stencil. After attaching the stencil to the screen, the artist is ready to print. After transferring the image to the screen, in this case by the photographic method, the artist places the screen in a clamp hinge to facilitate the printing process. She uses the original design to correctly position the paper beneath the screen. The artist marks with tape the spot where the paper should consistently be placed during printing. In one smooth movement, the artist pulls the ink across the surface of the screen with a squeegee, forcing the ink through the open areas of the screen. One advantage of screen printing is that it allows for quick and repetitive printing. In between each printing, the artist uses a backward stroke, called a flood stroke, to prevent the ink from drying out and blocking the image areas of the screen. To print multiple colors, additional screens are used. In this case, 2 screens have been prepared, one for the image and the other for the background. After the image of the tree has been printed and the ink is dry, the artist carefully positions this sheet under the second screen. The registration of the print is especially important in color printing of multiple screens. In this print, the artist uses 2 colors simultaneously to create a blended background. She carefully blends the colors with the squeegee and pulls them across the screen. The finished print is the product of the 2 screens.